Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines this morning. We got XRP. Does it equal the Bancor coin? We're going to hear from Ripple's APEC policy director. We're going to hear from Gary Gensler. And why is Gary Gensler calling for a new settlement system at the same exact time that the Russian president is? We're going to get into that. And USDTether. We got the FTX scandal and so much more. What is going on in the Bahamas, ladies and gentlemen? You need to know. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, $854 billion market cap for crypto. We're off by 3.1%. Bitcoin, 16,100 plus right now, and we see Ethereum, 1,100 plus, and we see XRP right now back at 38 cents, although it's still up 4.7% on the 7-day. Good morning, everybody. If you have not done it, and even if you have and you're an Uphold customer or user, check out the APY 25%. It is a great place. It's the home for altcoins. I'm loving it. And I'm going to tell you something else too. I feel better on this exchange than anywhere else. In fact, it's the last place that I have the remainder of any crypto besides cold storage. And if you want to get that, it's on a cold storage link underneath for Ledger underneath the video. And you could use your Uphold wallet to get private equity at link2.com. And look what you did to me. Look what you did to me over the weekend. You bought the Uphold and you know I wanted some shares. I'd have done the same thing to you. I'm proud of you. Whoever did it, I'm proud of you. But don't forget, they still got Polyside, Ripple, Link2, Zipline, which I think is amazing, and so many other great things like BitPay and others. Check it out. See if it's right for yourself. You do have to be accredited. All my sponsors underneath the video offer incredible, incredible products and services. Look at this news, ladies and gentlemen. Flare may be ready to find its footing, ladies and gentlemen. Kraken enables Flare funding and staking to the excitement of XRP holders. Yes, it is. And basically what they're saying here is Kraken has enabled funding and staking for the Flare tokens as the airdrop distribution draws closer for XRP holders. We will keep up to date on what this does, how it rolls out. It has been a lot of false starts, but you know what? I'll take it if it's done right. Who cares? You know what I mean? If it comes out and it rolls out in the right way, shout out to Hugo for that. There's no question about him. I saw Hugo over last summer in Austin, and I told him, regardless of the banter and the trolls and all that opinion, asking a sensible question about taxes, Hugo was never a problem during that process, by the way. But, I will say that the thing that excites me the most is knowing that Kraken is about to roll that out. Listen, I have said this a lot of times, and I want to say it, highlight it again. Crypto itself, in the grand scheme of things, and knowing that all things of value are going to be tokenized, crypto is going to be a very small part of that, if it even is anything at the end of the day. Because remember, Senator Gillibrand and Senator Lummis, they feel that the only thing that is crypto is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you think of that just for a moment, and if they get their way in that definition, then the rest of the market is in fact digital asset securities. And obviously hoping that XRP gets through this case with the kind of clarity that makes it an actual note like money. That's how I'd like to see it, but that's just me. But we'll keep an eye on this for Flare, because I do believe DeFi is the next iteration of the banking system. So if they get this to work smoothly and you get some third-party insurance like FDIC brought into the game, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. That could get very exciting very quickly. Let's level set, says Ron Hammond. This is in response to the 4 Dems and 4 Republicans that sent a letter to Chair Gensler regarding the division's enforcement interactions with crypto ecosystem that also received money apparently from FTX. He says Tom Emmer, who's the ranking member of the Oversight Subcommittee, oversees the SEC. He says this is in response to the bipartisan letter that was wrote. And then Ron goes on to say here, the letter asked Chair Gensler 13 questions, including how many questions did the SEC ask each voluntary document request to relevant entities? Has the SEC conducted a cost-benefit analysis to determine the fairness and efficacy of its requests? In May, Chair Gensler responded to the letter. Some questions were responded to a high level, others were not. In D.C., this response, but not really a response. So it says pretty typical from regulators, especially if the opposite party leads the letter. So that's what we have there. He goes on to finish up and say, the article highlights conspiracy theories of Gensler's ties to Alameda as far-fetched, but then goes to say the members of Congress were potentially aware of the investigations and were pressuring the SEC to stop, which is just as ridiculous of a logical jump. He said the bipartisan hearings in December and 2023 will uncover who knew what, if at all. The letter tries to place the blame, though, on Congress ahead of these hearings, which is fairly bold claim. There have been a lot of bad takes on conspiracy theories, but fact-finding is needed. I agree on that, Ron. Fact-finding is needed. I'll tell you something else that fact-finding is needed on. Do they give the money back? I mean, the money should go back to the actual people who were burned on the FTX platform. But if that process is too hard to get it done the right way, because obviously you don't want to give it back to FTX because then you know the customers are going to get it. Maybe it's a charitable donation if it's not possible to get it back to the actual funds to the people who were harmed. But that, I mean, look, I mean, it's very easy, you know, here for Ron or any congressman, Tom Emmer and other congressmen that I've seen, you know, push this effort forward, you know, on both sides of the aisle, get that donation gone. That's the number one thing, and then your efforts will not be in question. That's the best way to do it. All right, right here we see it's well, if it'll load properly, you are seeing this in real time if you ever wanted to know, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. We have 1 million tabs open, and that's why it happens when you're a YouTuber. Jane Addams says to us, banks are over-leveraged $2 quadrillion in derivatives. A crash is imminent, and the economic fallout will be horrific. Uh-oh. It's not sounding good, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And guess what? Blockchain backers seeing something in the tea leaves that ain't looking right to him either. He said, I'm officially on a Great Depression alert for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, I'm no chart expert the way Blockchain backer is, and I'm certainly grateful for his skills. But I'll tell you this. Take a look at this, because you don't have to be an expert to see that the last time it hit that 0.702, boy, did we have a hell of a retrace right there, or sell-off, right? And we climb up out of that hole and hit it again. You can see it's hit its head right there, and now it's looking right here. So this is our telltale sign whether it's going to break through and continue, or whether we're going to see another one of these movements right here. Head on a swivel, ladies and gentlemen. But I tell you what all of this reminds me of. This article just came out here from Charles Gasparino. Shout out to him. He says sources tell him that Gensler is doing just that, preparing to unveil plans for the biggest changes in about 2 decades, the way the stocks are routed from buyers to sellers. Say it isn't so. Are you hearing this? A new payment rail, a new settlement system. That's what the hell he's talking about here. If Gensler's timing holds, he will announce possibly this week an open meeting for mid-December that will detail his plan to remake the nation's $46 trillion stock market. The way stocks are routed from buyers and sellers, ladies and gentlemen. Now I give you this.
The ever-increasing pace of advancements in technology, including distributed ledger technology, further shortening the standard settlement cycle in the near future may be both desirable and feasible. Indeed, some such efforts are already underway.
Today we do have those technologies not only to shorten the...
Let me stop that and give you that again right there.
The ever-increasing pace of advancements in technology, including distributed ledger technology, Further shortening the standard settlement cycle in the near future may be both desirable and feasible. Indeed, some such efforts are already underway.
It's already underway, ladies and gentlemen, and then they vote unanimously on it.
To amend the Securities Exchange Act on clearing and settling.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And the vote is unanimous there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened. And I tell you, I think it is absolutely pointing exactly to what he's talking about here about routing and buyers and sellers and stocks for this incredible size $46 trillion stock market, ladies and gentlemen. Now ask yourself if the SEC could end up using something like the XRP ledger for that. I'm speculating, but I know it could work. We'll see. Not saying that it is, but I am saying that the XRP ledger is a DEX, a decentralized exchange for the world. Be a great place to plug in the liquidity there, wouldn't it? Let's get to this, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to go over here. This is CoinDesk talking Bahama Prime Minister on embracing crypto. And as you can imagine, it was the standard, we do everything we can here to make sure that things are done right, blah, 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 blah. Someone sounding appalled. But think of this for a moment. Holy crap, the Bahamas Attorney General worked for Tether Bank, Deltec Bank. And it's right here. You can see head of Deltec Bank is the oldest bank in the trust group of Bahamas under continuous ownership and trace its origins back to 1946. Well, we have got some news for you about the connection there, and nothing earth-shattering here, but the public statement that you can imagine that we try to do everything right. We're looking into the matter, right? But what I want to show you is this clip here that was posted by Fatman Terra on Twitter. He said, odd, I see it used constantly to mock people claiming that Tether is unbacked. Is Tether shady at times? Yes, he says. Have they committed fraud in the past? Yes, he says. But are they making tons of money hand over fist to cover potential holes? Also, yes. And will it depeg to $0? Nope. Well, you know what David Schwartz says? He says exactly what I was thinking when I saw this tweet. He says people said the same thing about FTX since the exchange was estimated to be making $3 million per day. That didn't quite work out so well, did it? That's exactly right. That's how I see it too. And here's more troubling news. More troubling news. This is Bit Boy Ben right here. Ben Armstrong down in Bahamas holding it down. And he's doing a lot more than CoinDesk did, I can tell you that. Wait till you find out how many parking spaces are for Deltec Bank that back Tether, a $68 billion market cap.
But we were like, okay, well, that's kind of sketchy. There's nobody here. There's nobody there managing security. So we walked around here to the corner. Now, here's some interesting stuff also. If you look here, we have some different...
This is a building where Tether's office is on the 5th floor. There was another building that said it was under construction, and there was no one at the building. But this is the building where he's at, and he had said earlier in the video, Tether has an office on the 5th floor. $68 billion company. They're not the whole building. They have an office on the 5th floor. But watch how many parking spots they have for this $68 billion market cap.
Parking spots. We have here Moscow Group, Upbank, they get 2. Here is Quant Fury. Here is Lombard Odier. And then here's another Lombard Odier. That sounds like a vertebrae, okay? Then you come over here. There's a plane. There's Sam. There he goes, escaping. Then we have this. This is a parking spot for LCH. And then this is Deltec Bank, Tether, Deltec Visitor. And then this is, yeah, look, they got one spot. $80 billion is supposed to be here. They got one spot.
That's what you need to know right there, ladies and gentlemen. There's trouble in River City. I've said it for a very long time, haven't I? I've said it for a very, very long time. FTX is one thing, But USD Tether is very, very questionable. Now, will it be a fine and they're back in business? Will it be shutting it down? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm learning more and more every day that suggests that the bad feeling that I've had for a long time is warranted. Be very careful what you're doing right now. I have made a decision to do a massive change in my portfolio. We're talking about it in my Digital Perspectives Mastermind group. If you're interested in joining, we're doing that and so many other things. Get yourself into that group. It's a limited number of people, but I tell you, there are major concerns now as far as USD Tether goes. And can you really reboot this market and get the clarity and regulation you need and still have USD Tether operate in the manner it does today? That much I'm sure you cannot. Ripple's APAC policy director said the collapse of FTX is exactly why crypto needs to move away from hype cycles and towards real utility. Well, I couldn't agree more. And I tell you what, to add to that, how about the utility of settling $46 trillion stock market? I think that could work out. Or how about the banks using it the way the OMFIF talk about in the Bancor model, which is really a model that was suggested about the Bancor token by John Maynard Keynes in the creation of Bretton Woods back in 1944, I believe it was. By consolidating liquidity to service international payments from many disjointed international Nostro accounts into one XRP pool, respondent banks allocate less total liquidity to service the same volume of global payments. The bank only has to hold its domestic currency and maintain one account with XRP with only enough XRP to service its largest expected payment obligation. The process minimizes the number of intermediaries and their markup on spreads. What a picture that paints. And I want you to think, we talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But by 2024, 1 year from now, at least 50% of the world's population is expected to use digital wallets for transactions. Valued at over $9 trillion annually, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking about trading speculatively now. We're talking about 50% of the world's population basically 1 year from now, because we're a month away from being 2023, 1 year from now, half of the world having a digital wallet. What kind of crap storm are we about to run into that when we come out the other side of that, it's got half the world using digital wallets and about $9 trillion running through it? Brace yourselves. I'm not trying to put ice water in anybody's veins, but XRP was created for a moment that sounds a lot like the one we're about to move into. And this right here says it in the document we covered yesterday. But at the same time that Gary Gensler's talking about using and rerouting a new payment settlement system for a $46 trillion stock market, it just so happens, so is the Russian president calling for a new international settlement system using blockchain and digital currencies. There's no mistake about what's going on here to me at my house, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're all going to find out someday whether XRP is involved or whether it got left outside the fence. I'm willing to take that chance. You have to weigh out and see if it's a chance you're willing to take for yourself, your family, and your investments. Everyone has a different appetite for risk. You have to evaluate yours and see where you're at. But I tell you, on this day, it does feel like we're standing on quicksand, ladies and gentlemen. But I offer you this as we wrap out of here. The SEC versus Ripple case, there are no criminal or fraud charges. I said happy Sunday, but it's really happy Monday. Take a listen right here.
One of the things I say inside the company is I'm not focused on the price of XRP over 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months. I'm focused on the price of XRP over 3 years and 5 years. I have no qualms saying definitively, if we continue to drive the success we're driving, we're going to drive a massive amount of demand for XRP because we're solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem.
That's exactly right. And I tell you, we are solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem. And that's where we're at on this day. And that's Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. And I'm sure you know that. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch you on the next one.